Alright, 2024 is coming to a close, so it's time to take a look back and recognize all the teams that could call themselves champions this year. A real list of champions would include hundreds of teams. This one's only got 43. I've got the champions of all the major professional leagues of the Americas, summer and winter, the big three in East Asia, all the champions in Europe, and a few more from around the world. For other countries of the world, couldn't find anything. If you know of any league champion of the highest level of baseball in any country of the world, not mentioned in the video, give them a mention down in the comments. Even if it's not the champion from the highest level and you just want to shout them out, go ahead and do that. But every champion I'll name here was the champion at the highest level in their country. As always, I named two from Mexico and Cuba. Mexico has two leagues, summer and winter, on a similar level. Cuba has the summer league with all 16 teams, then a winter league with only the best 6. We'll go in the approximate order that they were crowned throughout the year. That of course means we'll start where the champions are crowned right after the new year, in the winter leagues of the Caribbean. In the 6-team Dominican League, Lidón, Tigres del Licey won their second straight league title, their 24th overall, more than any other team in the Dominican Republic. It was not a dominant season for them though. 25-25 in the regular season. They grabbed the 4th and final spot in the postseason. In the round robin they were second, one game out of first. Good enough to reach the final series. It went a full 7 games before they prevailed, 4-3 over Estrellas Orientales. In the 6-team Puerto Rican League, LBPRC, Criollos de Caguas claimed their league record 21st title, and 3rd in the last 4 years. Tied for 3rd in the regular season, good enough to make the playoffs. In the semifinals, they took down the top seed Cangrejeros de Santurce, 4-1. In the best of 9 championship series, they beat number 2 seed Gigantes de Carolina, 5-3. In Mexico's Winter League, the 10-team LMP, Naranjeros de Hermosillo won their first league title in 10 years, their 17th overall, which is a league record. A bit of a rough start, they were number 6 in the first half standings, but 2nd in the second half standings, and 2nd overall with a record of 37-31. Then they stormed through the playoffs, 4-1 over Mayos de Navajoa, a 4-game sweep over Águilas de Mexicali, and a 4-game sweep over Venados de Mazatlan in the final series. A record of 12-1 in the playoffs. Their sweep of the final series included 2 shutouts. In the 8-team Venezuelan League, LVBP, Tiburones de La Guaira ended the league's longest title drought, their 8th overall title, but first since 1986. The highest scoring team during the regular season. They were 4th in the standings at 30-26, 1st in the round robin at 12-4, earning a place in the final series, where they beat Cardenales de Lara 4-1. They were led by first-year manager Ozzie Guillen and an outfielder named Ronald Acuna Jr. In Panama's LPBP, better known as Probase, Federales de Chiriquí repeated as league champions, the only 2 Probase titles in their short history. Short season this year, only a 14-game schedule, all played in January, with just 3 teams. Federales led the way at 8-6. In the final series, they swept Águilas Metropolitanas in 3 games. The second year in a row they swept the final series. In Nicaragua's 5-team LBPN, Gigantes de Rivas won their 4th league title in just 11 years of existence. Their last title had been 3 years earlier. Tied for 1st in the regular season at 19-13, 2nd in the round robin at 7-5. In the final series, they beat Tren del Norte 4-2. The MVP of that series for Gigantes was former San Francisco Giants outfielder Francisco Peguero. Those 6 champion teams and the Curacao Suns were invited to take part in the 66th edition of the Caribbean Series, taking place at Lone Depot Park in Miami. The Suns were crowned champions of the Curacao League in December of 2023, which is why I didn't mention them before. This was the first Caribbean Series to take place in Miami since 1991, as well as the first ever in a major league ballpark. In the 7-team round-robin stage, Tiburones and Federales were 5-1, Tigres, Suns, and Criollos all 3-3, but Criollos were the odd ones out. Tiburones, Federales, Tigres, and Suns advanced to the knockout stage. Naranjeros were 2-4, and Gigantes, representing for the first time a Nicaraguan team at the Caribbean Series, lost all 6 games. Semifinals, Tiburones over the Suns 6-2, Tigres over Federales 4-1. In the 3rd place game, Federales got past the Suns 5-4 to earn the bronze. In the finale, Tigres' bid for a repeat was denied, as they were shut out by Tiburones 3-0. Tiburones de La Guaira, just weeks after ending a 36-year LVBP title drought, won their first ever Caribbean Series title, and first for a Venezuelan team since 2009. In Colombia's four-team LPB, Caimanes de Barranquilla won their league record 13th title, their third in the last 4 years. They dominated the regular season at 26-15, 6 games ahead of the second-place team. Most runs scored, fewest runs allowed. In the championship series, they beat Vaqueros de Monteria 4-1. For the first time in 5 years, though, the LPB champion was not invited to the Caribbean Series. The 6-team Cuban Elite League was won by Cocodrilos de Matanzas. This was only the second season of the Elite League, and the first time the teams were simply the top 6 from the previous summer's Cuban National Series. Matanzas was first in the regular season at 25-15, with the league's best pitching. In the semifinals, they beat Las Tunas 4-1. In the final series, 4-2 over Artemisa. On the other side of the planet, the Adelaide Giants repeated as champions of the 6-team Australian Baseball League, only their second ABL title since the league's relaunch in 2010. Topped the regular season standings at 29-11. In the semifinals, beat the Melbourne Aces 2-1. In the final, 2-1 over the Perth Heat for the Claxton Shield. Time for the Summer Leagues, and we start in Europe. A lot of countries to go through here. I wouldn't have known some of these without an article from Dutch Baseball Hangout. I'll link that article in the description if you want to read it. Here we go. In the 9-team honkbal hoofdklasse of the Netherlands, Curaçao Neptunus of Rotterdam claimed their first title in 5 years, number 20 overall, a league record. In the season's first stage, Neptunus dominated, 22-2. They did not lose at all until the final weekend. Just as good in the winner's stage, 24-3. In the semis, they swept DSS Kinheim in 2 games. And even in the Holland series, they couldn't be touched, a 4-game sweep over HCAW. In the 30-team Italian league, Serie A, it was Parma Clima winning it for the first time since 2010, their 11th title overall, 20-10 in the season's first stage, tied at the top of their group standings. In the quarterfinals, swept Nettuno in 3 games. Semis were exciting, won the first 3 over Macerata, lost the next 3. In Game 7, they were down 3-0 heading into the last inning. They scored 4 runs to walk it off and take the series. A much easier time in the Italian series, 4-1 over San Marino. In the 8-team Czech Baseball Extraliga, Draží Brno won their 3rd title in a row and their 25th overall, by far the most in Extraliga. In the regular season, they were tied at the top with Rossi Brno at 25-10. In the semifinals, they swept Eros Ostrava in 4 games. In the Czech series, 4-1 over Rossi. In Germany's Baseball Bundesliga, the Bonn Capitals won their 3rd league title, 2nd in the last 3 years. They were 19-5 in the North, the 5th year in a row finishing with the best record in the North, and the 9th time in the last 10 years. In the playoffs, 3-2 over Mainz in the quarterfinals, 3-2 over Heidenheim in the semis, and 3-2 over Paderborn in the final. 3 hard-fought series wins for the title. In September, 4 teams from Germany and the Czech Republic met in the Baseball European Champions Cup. They started with a 6-game round-robin. Guggenberger Legionar of Regensburg, Germany was first, with a record of 5-1, followed by Draží Brno 4-2, Heidenheim 3-3, and Eagles Praha 0-6. Draží and Legionar met in the championship game, and that was won by Draží 6-3 for their first ever European title. In Spain, Astros Valencia won their 4th league title, first since 2020, in a 2-game sweep over 3-time defending champions Tenerife Marlins. In France, the Rouen Huskies won their league record 18th championship and 8th in the last 9 years, with a 3-game sweep over Savigny. In Austria, Diving Ducks Wiener Neustadt won it for the 2nd year in a row and the 3rd time overall, 3-2 over the Vienna Metro Stars. In Belarus, Minsk Baseball won it all, as they do every year, 3-1 over the Brest Zaburs. I'm probably mispronouncing that. In Belgium, Hoboken Pioneers won it for the 2nd time in the last 3 years. They beat the defending champions Dern Spartans 3-1. In Bulgaria, the Sofia Blues repeated as champs, 3-1 over the Blagoevgrad Buffaloes. In Croatia, Olimpia Karlovac claimed their 4th title in a row with a 4-game sweep over Nata Split. In Denmark, the Onza Wolves repeated as champions, winning a 1-game championship over a Swedish team, the Malmö Pilots. In Finland, the Espoo Expos won it for the 3rd straight year with a 3-game sweep over Pumat. That included a 25-0 beatdown in Game 2. In Great Britain, the London Mets were champions for the 6th straight year. They did it with a 2-game sweep over the Essex Arrows. In Hungary, the Erd Arrows won their first title. No championship game, they earned it by having the best record at 7-3. In Ireland, the Greystones Mariners won their 4th overall title and 2nd in a row with a 2-game sweep over the Dublin Spartans. In Lithuania, Kaunas Lituanica swept Baseball Club Vilnius in 3 games for their first league title in 8 years. In Norway, Kristiansand Suns repeated as champions with a 4-2 win in a single-game championship over Vålerenga. In Poland, Stal Kutno won league title number 21, beating Centauri Warsaw 3-1. In Portugal, Rivers Estareja BBC won it 2-1 over Club Deportivo Feirense. In Russia, North Star Moscow swept Meteor Balashka in 3 games. This ended a 3-year title streak from another Russian club, Rustar. In Serbia, Vojvodina won their 3rd title in the last 4 years with a single-game victory over Beograd 96 by the score of 12-6. In Slovakia, Apollo Bratislava repeated for their 13th league title with a 3-game sweep over Angels Trnava. In Sweden, the Rättvik Butchers won their 3rd straight league title with a 3-game sweep over the Stockholm Monarchs. And in Switzerland, Terwil Flyers won their 16th league title, 5th in the last 6 years, a 3-game sweep over the Zurich Barracudas. Back to the Americas, in the 16-team Cuban National Series, Leñadores de las Tunas repeated as champions, their 3rd National Series title overall. 3rd in the regular season at 42-28. Got a scare in the quarterfinals, took a full 7 games to take care of 6th-seeded Ciego de Avila. But they rolled the rest of the way, 4-1 over Granma in the semis, and 4-1 over top-seeded Pinar del Rio to successfully defend their title. In Mexico's Summer League, the LMB, expanded to 20 teams this year, Diablos Rojos del Mexico won the Serie del Rey for the first time in 10 years, their league record 17th overall title, done so in dominating fashion, arguably the greatest team in LMB history, 71-19 in the regular season, most runs scored, fewest runs allowed. Robinson Cano, Trevor Bauer, just a couple names among a lineup of all-stars. Started their playoff run by taking out defending champions Pericos de Puebla 4-1. Quarterfinals, a 4-game sweep over Leones de Yucatan. Got interesting in the semis though, fell into a 3-0 deficit versus Guerreros de Oaxaca, but came back to win 4 straight, including a walk-off in Game 7. No problem in the Serie del Rey as they swept Sultanes de Monterrey in 4 games. In Major League Baseball, it was the Los Angeles Dodgers winning it for the 8th time in the team's history. First time since 2020, first in a full 162-game season since 1988. MLB's best record at 98-64, led by a new arrival, NL MVP Shohei Ohtani. In the postseason, 3-2 over the San Diego Padres in the Division Series, 4-2 over the New York Mets in the NLCS, then 4-1 over the New York Yankees in the World Series, thanks in large part to the hitting of World Series MVP Freddie Freeman. In Canada's top all-Canadian league, the 9-team Intercounty Baseball League, the Barrie Baycats took home the Dominico Cup for the 8th time, their first since winning it 6 years in a row from 2014 to 2019, 3rd in the regular season at 26-16. In the playoffs, a perfect 10-0, including a 4-game sweep over the Guelph Royals in the final series. Across the Pacific, first stop is in Saipan, where Cardinals repeated as champions of the Tan Holdings Saipan Baseball League. They swept the Padres in the final series in 2 games, by the scores of 17-8 and 4-2. In the China National Baseball League, the Jiangsu Huge Horses won their first title since 2015, with a 2-game sweep over the Beijing Tigers. They won Game 2 by the score of 8-7, walking it off in the 10th. In Taiwan, the newly expanded 6-team CPBL was topped by the CTBC Brothers, their 10th overall title, tied with the Uni Lions for the league record, their 3rd championship in the last 4 years, 3rd in the first half standings at 32-28, 1st in the second half standings at 38-22, best overall record at 70-50, so they went straight to the Taiwan Series, where they beat the Uni Lions 4-1. In Korea, the Kia Tigers won their league record 12th KBO title, their first since 2017, first in the regular season out of the 10 KBO teams, with a record of 87-55, 9 games ahead of the second place team. helped out greatly by 20-year-old KBO MVP Do-Young Kim. As the regular season winner, they went straight to the Korean Series, where they beat the Samsung Lions 4-1. In Japan, the Yokohama DNA Baystars shocked everyone by winning the 2024 NPB title, only their third league title in the team's 75-year history, their first since 1998. In the regular season, they were 71-69, third in Central League, just barely made the postseason. Having to play all their games on the road in the first two series, they swept the Hanshin Tigers in 2 games. Then, in the final stage of the Climax Series, beat the Yomiuri Giants 4-3. That included a ghost win the Giants were awarded. In the Japan Series, they fell into a 2-0 deficit to the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, but won the next 4 to take the series in 6. They won the last 3 by the scores of 5-0, 7-0, and 11-2. And there you have it, the national champions of 43 countries. That's all for this one, and until next time, this is Baseball International. See ya!